Let's watch the final round. This is, just so you understand, this is my view of your 51st win against John Force in the final round. Let's check it out.
All right. That's cool.
Isn't it? You know, smoke's in there.
I missed that. Yeah. I don't ever get to see that. You know what I mean? So that's really cool.
That's why I wanted to show you, because you don't get to see that. You get the Fox version, and the Fox version is really cool, but their cameras are so good. It's not like you're a guy standing there, and I am genuinely a guy standing there.
That's awesome. And I love that, man. Yeah, it gives me chill bumps, you know, and like just to see those guys like celebrate after they work so hard and accomplish that is massive, you know. And it's like I always miss that celebration because you're in the car and you're just over the radio. If you don't see the wind light coming on, like, did we get him? Did we get him? You know, and it's just kind of it's cool to be able to go back and look at that and see those guys so happy since they worked so hard all day to be there, you know. And not that Forces guys didn't work hard all day to be there either, you know. I mean, that's really what's such a punch in the gut. A lot of times you get to these finals and I think that when you don't get it done, you know, it makes you just like, man, you know, because those guys did the same amount of work as our guys did, you know. And I think the stat was like I've raced Force 11 times or something, and we won 7 of them in the finals. So pretty good stats against Force, you know. Like I said, living legend over there. But at the end of the day, man, I tell you, it did throw me off that he turned that top bulb off. I mean, you know he's going to do it, right? But like, it just kind of, you cut your eyes over and cut your eyes back, and you know. But I mean, hey, that's why you do it, you know what I mean? But it's just kind of one of those things where it definitely does kind of like, wow, what's that, a little extra there, you know what I mean, in the final, you know, that kind of thing. So but like I said, that's all within the rules, and everybody, like Bob Tasca said, it don't matter.
Here we are again, right? Tasca's comment lasts forever. It don't matter.
It don't matter. Yeah. Now he called me. He actually texted me. He said, "You kind of sounded like me a little bit." He's like, "Yeah, let it roll off your tongue a little bit more," you know.
You know, Tony Pedregon says it the best. You shorten the racetrack, and I just use a simple analogy. If you and I, Joe, were in a foot race right now, and we had $1 million, and we had to race 50 feet. Forget 1,000 feet, 50 feet.
Thank you.
Would you give me a 7-inch head start, Joe?
No.
Are you sure, Joe?
No.
It's only 7 inches, Joe.
I'm certain.
Okay, so that's the way I look at it. And when I'm in a real tight race and I know inches could make a difference, I'm going to shorten the racetrack. And that's just what I do. I at the end of the day, your reaction time is your reaction time. It makes no difference whether you're shallow or deep. You're going to react at the same moment in time, okay? So if I was shallow, my reaction time would have been worse. My car would have been quicker. However, if I'm shallow, I potentially give up 7 inches to my competition. Why would I give 7 inches up? So I just take it. I take it, you know, and this is going back to the days of racing with John and Tony and Cruz and guys that they have been my mentors throughout my career. And I've learned so much from them. And that's what they've done in their careers. And that's what I do. Maybe mentally, it gives me like that psychological advantage. Most races, it makes no difference. You have to win or lose by less than 7 inches. And I think that race was within 7 inches. So I think it definitely played a role in winning.
It's going to be close. Sometimes I go in shallow. You know what I mean? Because there's only, to go deep, there's only 7-8 inches, even if you put the top bulb out. But I've won races by a handful of inches. But I don't do it just for that. I do it because somehow when I jump in there, my energy goes sky high. It's like I wake up and all of a sudden my reactions get better. So even if you back out that 7 inches, I'm still better. When I go in there and I'm breaking it, trying to go dead shallow, it's like you're saying, whoa, like you're on a horse. Whoa, you're pulling back. And your brain just says, don't leave. I don't know. I don't know how other drivers do it. They're all better than me. I've said it. And because I always tell the truth. Blake Alexander did his job and got him by a hair. And I even told him, he said, good job, was complimenting me. I said, what, you did your job. You probably left on me. And I'm sure he did. And Prock did too. But it doesn't matter. It's how I race. And some days it works and some days it don't. But I wish I could get lights like all those Hagan and Caps and all them guys and Prock, and they just whip out them 50s like they're nothing.
We race the racetrack. My dad's always been that way, and the apple doesn't fall far from the tree with Thomas, myself, or even Nate. So we just go up there and read the racetrack, and we try and run the quickest ET we possibly can every time we go up there, no matter who's in the other lane, because lane choice is always important. That's why I'm always staging shallow, and that's why we swing for the fences. But went up there guns loaded, just like if John Force is in the other lanes.
You got to be a smart racer, okay? When you look at the Skag team, Mike Green and Tommy DeLago are some of the sharpest that's ever did it. They are very, very smart racers, okay? They can race with anybody. They know when to throw down low ET. They know what ET they can run. And when we're racing on the track that we're racing on, that track was tricky. This is what people don't understand. When the track gets that tight, you're on a really thin bladed sword. You could go one way or the other. Like, did you see all the cars that could run mid-60s, like 65, 66, 64, right?
Yes.
If they hit a 64 run, they have to tee it up where they got to get it all so they can get the wheel speed up and go, right? If not, the car's dead slow and then it tries to make it up and it shakes the tire. Or if it's dead fast, the car will hook up so hard it jumps the car up off the ground and then it gives it an initial spin. Not because they blew the tires off, it's literally because the track's so tight, it jumps the car off the ground and starts getting the tires spinning. Okay? So that's what you saw happen with me and Sean Langdon, because we had our stuff tuned up to try to run a mid-60 because we know he could run a mid-60, right? Well, he knew that he wasn't going to run a 68 to try to beat us. He was going to try to run a 65 or 66 because he knows that's what we're going to try to do, because he won a 68 the round before and I won a 69. Okay? So we were trying to get a little bit more there because me and him could be split on a tree. I could be 40, he could be 50. I could be 50 or he could be 40. So our crew chiefs in their mind are thinking, all right, well, we gotta get some extra. So he jumped off the ground and blew the tires on the starting line, and we shook later because we were trying to get after it. And then the thing about with Justin Ashley that I want to go back to with Mike Green, they're like, well, shoot, you can look at the stats in qualifying. I was mid-50s on the tree. I was like 55, 54. Well, Justin's like 40 flat. 42, 43, 45. He's always from that 40 flat to a 45 range. Well, they've got 100th on a tree. So Mike and them probably went up there and go, we need to run we're going to go up here to try to run like a 69 because the track got hotter. The sun came out, right? And the car might have went through the clutch. I don't know what happened on the run, but their car ended up going a 70 flat. It wasn't a bad run, but it probably wasn't a run they were trying to run. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what these cars do to you. And for us, we're going up there. We're trying to run a 68, 69. We said if we could do that, and if we could leave with them on a tree and be close, it'll be just a really tight race. It can go any way. If somebody has a hiccup, the other person's going to win. And that's when we went up there. When you have somebody like Justin Ashley in your car, you do not have to run 65. Because when you run 65, it'll run 65, and the next lap, it'll jump off the racetrack and blow the tires away. You follow what I'm saying? Like Doug Coletta, he didn't run 65 every lap. That jerk came out the box first lap. I forget what he went, 68.8 or 69 first lap. The second lap, he went out there. He went 64 flat. But then the lap after that, they came out there and they ran 68.8. You get what I'm saying? And in the final, they weren't trying to run a 71. Something happened to their car. They were trying to run a 60, something like a mid-60 again. But it didn't work out that way. Something didn't work out. You know what I mean? They didn't drop a hole, but the car didn't make the power it needed to make, or an electrical problem. But they were not trying to run a 71.